Everett. I'm Miss Graham. I teach nonfiction studies in 6th grade. I teach it in Spanish and in English, and I want to talk to you about this book called Counting by Sevens. I actually started reading this book because my daughter read it this summer and loved it, and I just wanted to know what it was about. It actually made her cry at one point, and so I thought it was worth figuring out what it was all about. So I read it, and there was a point at which it made me cry too. It's the story of a young girl named Willow Chance who has lost her parents at the beginning of the book, and she has no brothers or sisters. She's on her own, and she has a really high-performing brain. She can learn things really quickly and figure things out for herself. So she kind of decides to take care of herself, and in the middle of doing that, she meets a kind of a funny cast of characters who join together and end up helping to take care of her. That cast of characters includes an older counselor at her school who's, or for her school district, a Vietnamese mother, single mother who works in a nail salon, and she has 2 teenage kids, a girl and a boy. It includes a Latino taxi driver who takes Willow sort of under his wing. And it's really about how somebody who doesn't have a family makes a family with other people who all have different ideas about what family should be. It's also really funny in places. So I'm going to read to you, just apart from the middle of the book, where Willow is on her own and she's trying to get someplace, but she doesn't drive. I think she's 12 years old. She says, "I had a plan. I had been walking to the counselor's office for my appointments, but now that I knew Mai and her brother would be there before me, I wanted to get there early. So I went online the following week and ordered a taxi to pick me up at the curb when school was over. This was a very brave and daring act for me. I waited in front of the sign that said Sequoia Giants, and the taxi arrived right on time. I believed we were off to a good start. I pulled my wheeled luggage to the cab door and leaned in through the open window, and I said, 'I would like the number of your taxi license and to see proof of your compliance with brake and headlight adjustment requirements.' The driver's name was Jairo Hernandez, and he had been driving for Mexicano Taxi for 7 years. I was nervous, but he seemed nervous as well. He did not appear, however, to be someone who would kidnap me and cut me up into small pieces. After I reviewed his paperwork, which took considerable effort on his part to locate, I got into the back seat. As we pulled away from the curb, he picked up his phone and his radio handset and talked to someone, maybe in the back office. His voice was low. He didn't realize that I am fluent in Spanish, as it was the language that I learned after English. And this is what he said. 'At first, I think I'm picking up some kind of little person going to the airport because she has luggage. But then I get closer and I see it's just a girl. I'm telling you, man, it's some kind of undercover sting operation. She asked for all my paperwork. I would have stepped on the gas and sped off, but she was leaning in the window. This is harsh, my friend. If a kid can ambush you outside of a middle school, what's next?" I love that she's bilingual, since I'm bilingual, and I hope that you'll enjoy reading the book as much as I did.